want to work. Let's zoom this in here. Okay. Let me go ahead and share this. Okay. Let's see here. I gotta get this in here. Okay. Zoom it in. Turn that thing around. Let's see here. Okay, guys. Put a one in the chat if you can hear the sound of my voice. Put a one in the chat. This is a breaking news development in the case of Sean Diddy Combs. I want you guys to get in here. You know the investigative reporter gets the deets. You know the investigative reporter get the details. Ladies and gentlemen, you got the one in the chat. The judge is not happy. The judge is not happy. So today, this morning, the judge was not happy. Judge Aaron Summerian took both prosecutor and attorney to task about information that was leaked to the media in a major news article. And ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you one thing, it wasn't me that leaked the information. It wasn't me. But we now know what it was. And when I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, judge ain't happy. But this opens a wider door for me. And when I tell you what the article is, this paints a bigger picture for me. This paints a bigger picture for me. This had a snowball effect. Can anyone guess what the leaked information was? Can anyone guess in the chat? Okay, someone just called me. They know I'm live. Hold on, let me put this on mute. Okay, put a one in the chat. Someone called me. I'm sorry. I do apologize. Put a one in the chat if you can still hear me because I got a phone call that just came in. I should have been putting it on mute. Okay. Okay, no, that's no. Okay, you can hear me. Oh my goodness. I can't zoom out. I can't. There's a reason why I can't zoom out. I cannot zoom out right now. I cannot zoom out. Okay. Someone's calling me, and I hope they stop calling me because I'm live, and they should know I'm live. Okay. I put it on Do Not Disturb. They're still calling me. I don't know how they're getting through. They're stalking me, ladies and gentlemen. They're stalking me. I'm going to tell the T. I'm going to put it out there. The real T. Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I know I'm slow walking this, but there was an article that hit the media outlets about 48 hours ago. And it was some information that was proprietary information that we didn't hear in the courtroom. We didn't hear in the courtroom. But somehow it made it to the press. It made it to the press. And what the article said was, okay, I'll tell you who the culprits are. The article appeared in TMZ, and it talked about the juror's residency issue. We never learned about that in the courtroom, but that came out. So there you have it. No more guessing. It was the juror's residency that leaked that controversial piece of information, got out to the press. And it started a firestorm of controversy because this juror may likely have a legitimate reason why he said what he said. The judge went crazy. The judge snapped. The judge said, someone's lying. The judge was not happy. So I had to do my research. I had to do some digging. I had to look under all the rocks. I started my investigation before the judge started his investigation. I wanted to find out who the heck was leaking information. And I will tell you who it was. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you. I don't know who it was. But I can tell you what's the information. That's what happened. The residency details never came out. I scoured the transcripts. I listened to the opening in the morning. I read every page. I took it back 5 days because I wanted to find out what was it that entered into the press that was not a part of the proceedings that the public heard. And when I tell you, when I scoured through all these pages, I went through 25, 30, 40, 50, about 70 pages, and I discovered it only could be this. It was the revealing of the residency issue that no one knew in the courtroom. That didn't come out in the courtroom. That didn't come out. That didn't come out. And that became an issue. Of course it's going to be an issue, especially when it appears that it was a bogus reason for releasing this juror. It was a bogus reason for releasing this juror. Let me say it again for those in the back. It was a bogus reason for releasing this juror. I believe this juror can produce receipts to show that he lives in the Bronx. I have a strong belief that this juror can produce receipts that he lives in the Bronx and he only visits in New Jersey. So I don't know if the juror was not being the juror was not, wait, hold on, let me say this so I won't piss anyone off. Someone's not being honest. Someone is not being honest. And my spider senses are telling me there may be a cover-up here. Maybe a cover-up. Someone's playing games. Someone's running scared. The defense is milly-whopping the prosecution. This is not good. This is not good. This is not good. I've never, and every day I covered this trial, I've never seen this judge lose his cool. And you know when people lose their cool, their demeanor, maybe for a reason. Because this reason for excluding this juror is hogwash to me. It's hogwash. You take a black man off the jury as a juror, and residency is the reason when there wasn't even a hearing for this juror. The defendant, Sean Diddy Puffy Combs, deserves a fair trial. And ladies and gentlemen, absent of a hearing, the stakes are pretty high in this case. The stakes are too high in this case. You got to do a hearing. You got to tell them, produce the documents. You need more than just a gut feeling. You need receipts. Because we're seeing a lot of receipts today. You need receipts. And if there's receipts that can be produced by juror number 6, that he, in fact, lives in the Bronx, and he may just be visiting his girlfriend. That's far different. And if he has a residence and a lease, that's far different. But ask yourself a bigger question. How did he even receive a notice in the Bronx to come to court in the first place to be a potential juror? We can't ignore the fact that he received a notice in the mail at his residency in the Bronx to come to court to be a juror. What are we talking about here, ladies and gentlemen? Make it make sense. We cannot play the 3-card Monty. That's the oldest trick in the book. I know about the dice game, the two dices, the three dices, the three card Monte, the shell game. This is smelling like one of the three or four. So what are we talking about here? This shouldn't. See, this is the thing when you have these closed room conversations and something gets out to the public. Now people are wondering, what the hell is going on? It reminds me of Judge Glanville having an ex parte meeting, and we learned that the defense was never called to this meeting. So now we're coming up with a residency issue? Quite convenient, ladies and gentlemen. Quite convenient. If you get where I'm coming from when I say this, put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. Let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. The judge flipped his wig. Someone's lying. Judge Glanville had a similar demeanor. No one likes to be put on Front Street. Judge Glanville, Juror Glanville, had the same demeanor with Brian Steele. Who told you? Who told you? That was what he said. He said, "Who told you?" Never mind who told me. You should have told me. That's Brian Steele. He said, don't matter who told me. You should have told me. We can't play. Listen, this case is going to be overturned. If Mr. Combs gets convicted, this case is going to be overturned. This case is going to be overturned, and people are going to look real crazy, and they're going to say, Mr. Byron, you didn't know what you're talking about. Listen, one thing for certain, two things for sure. This is America, and everyone deserves a fair shake of justice. Everyone deserves a fair shake of justice. And I'm thinking the juror did something outrageous. No. This call that unfortunately that was made to get rid of this juror, it was bogus. It was bogus. It was bogus. And it doesn't smell right. It doesn't smell right. And a lot of you probably say, "Oh, Mr. Barton, no, he should." No. Listen. You gotta make it make sense. 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 They come in, you say, "Oh, they're so fair. They're very fair and impartial and everything." But then, towards the end of the game, these rulings are coming pro-prosecution. These are some exceptionally great lawyers in the courtroom, making exceptionally great arguments. And they've been vetted by exceptionally great attorneys outside of the courtroom that practice this area of law and constitutional law and rules of evidence. They are the masters in this game. And they're saying, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. It's like, piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. But I digress. But that's the breaking news. That's what it was. Shout out to TMZ for getting the scoop. Oh my goodness. Explosive news, ladies and gentlemen. Explosive news. People are running around the courthouse today wanting to know what article, who wrote it, was it you, Mr. Byron? Was it you? Come on, guys. I knew better than that. Anyway, and let's see. I'm going to read some of the questions. Let me see if you guys had anything to say. Hold on. Right. Right. Someone said who was in the robing room when that was being discussed. I don't know. I wasn't in the robing room. I don't get invited to the robing room. I don't get invited to the robing room. When they say clear the courtroom, they said, Mr. Byron, I especially mean you. You got to clear the courtroom. But yeah, that's what it was, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it was. Um, ugh, yeah. It's the case a week. The case shouldn't even been indicted. How about that? Let's talk about that part. This case shouldn't even been indicted. This case was. Let me say this. You had Kalina. There was talks about Kalina might be coming to testify. These bodyguards, their pictures have been shown all on the screen. Prosecution never called none of them. Think about that. They never called none of these bodyguards. Not the bodyguards. They never called none of the dancers. I think they called one. But other than that, they had a bunch of dancers. They are easy to find. Why wouldn't you call them? Because they can tell a different story. They could talk about conversations that were had. They could talk about who was reaching out to who after the quote unquote freak off hotel night, King's night. It was not a good idea to indict this man on these charges, on these particular charges. That is my opinion, that it was not that important in these particular charges. But we'll talk about that in a minute. I have my other radios going off. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you on my next live.